I know many top authors because it's a small industry. So I've been with Nora Roberts and Lee Child and people like that I'm still gaga over.
Yes.
And they're all like, I don't think this book is going to be good. I think it's going to be terrible. We're all angsty the whole time that we write it, and then we release it into the world and don't think about it afterward.
And it's like, I know nothing
Right.
when I'm sitting next to this amazing lady who has to struggle to get a bath,
Right.
who has no one to reach out to or call on.
We produce the podcast. We come in with our team. We film it. We edit it. We cut it. We produce the shorts and the long form, and just help you with the growth. When you don't have a strong income, you can't create a down payment for a car. You cannot get credit to get a car. This is actually how the world works.
Welcome back to another episode of Stick a Fork in It. Want to first share how much we appreciate you taking the time to watch or listen to the podcast as we introduce you to so many amazing people in our community, and really people who have come to us most often for a purpose. And today I have a guest on the podcast whose name is Shirley. And Shirley has become a friend. She is incredibly wise, and we're going to get into what that relationship is. But first, I want to start by asking you, why is food insecurity something that touches your heart?
Well, this is something that a lot of people don't know about me, but after my divorce, I was pretty much poverty level. It was a really big shock to go from being relatively upper middle class to very, very poor. And all of a sudden I had a 15-year-old boy, who we all know a 15-year-old boy and his friends eat a lot of food to feed, and myself. And I was quickly humbled and empathetic, because you don't see the lives that other people are facing until you're in the midst of them.
Yeah.
And I needed food, and I didn't even know that there were resources. I didn't know how to find them. I had never been in that situation before. So I started volunteering at a food bank down the street from my house because I was too embarrassed to say, I need the food. Yeah. And it gave me an entirely different view of food insecurity and what it means to be food insecure, and to see these families that were just trying to feed their kids. And I would wait until the end. I was volunteering with my friends who had no idea of the situation I was in. And I would wait until the end. And if there was anything left, I was like, can I take that home? And then became much more of a driving force as I went forward. And during Hurricane Ian, there were so many people that were so badly affected throughout the state. And I went to Orlando for about a week, and I volunteered at a Feeding America food bank there. And I also volunteered at a barbecue that was put on in a very poor area of Orlando. And these people had been without power for 2 weeks, and they were just sobbing and grateful and hugging us because we're just making some burgers for them and feeding their kids. So it changed me greatly as a person, and I'm hoping in a good way.
Definitely has. We'll get into how that impacts feeding Tampa Bay in just a minute. But, I experienced a similar. We always say in food banking, people are one disaster away from needing help, right? And I ended up leaving a job for another job. I'm going to say that I was cocky about it. And then I didn't have that job anymore. Wow. And I had a 13-year-old.
Right.
That I was pretending that I wasn't hungry and making sure I got what he got. And you think about people make comments on the cars that are driving in line. I drove a Mercedes-Benz, and I didn't have a job. But guess what? I couldn't get rid of my car because that's how I was going to find a job. So what was really interesting is before I came to Feeding Tampa Bay, I was with Trinity Cafe. And because the experience I was having, I think it opened my eyes to the opportunity that there are opportunities out there.
Right.
And I applied for a job. And I think I got the job because I explained, and Jeff Derry was the founder, and he became a good friend. I explained why that application stood out to me, because I was in a place that I never dreamed from working from being 15 years old, having 3 boys, obviously driving a nice car, where, making the right choices, all that, and then all of a sudden I didn't. Exactly. And I was really stuck, and it was terrible. And I was really fortunate to have friends. But, I started working at Trinity Cafe, and the first day you had to sit down and just get to know people. And the amount of gratitude I felt, because I sat with a woman who was unhoused, and her name was Mary, and she was telling me her story. And what the biggest part of her story is that she didn't have anyone.
Wow.
And in that moment, it's like my first day on the new job, and I just got out of this terrible time, and my friends knew I was struggling, or one friend, my best friend, got all of my other friends to put money in an envelope and put it in my driveway to make sure I could get food for Chase.
Wow.
You know, so I had people.
Right.
How can you not have people?
Exactly.
Right. So
Exactly.
it was opening my eyes. Like, I thought I had compassion and I thought I had understanding. And at that point, I'd been in nonprofit for 15 years already. And it's like, I know nothing
Right.
when I'm sitting next to this amazing lady who has to struggle to get a bath,
Right. Right.
who has no one to reach out to or call on or anything like that. So I was heavily impacted also by my experience, which led me to Trinity Cafe, which the merger, because FTB needed to, frankly, learn how to make meals. But I will tell you, our team came to FTB and taught a lot about interacting with neighbors, and dignity and respect and being curious and asking them questions. So it took me on a path as well. Some folks, I don't know, I know, you know, we've been in this area for a really long time. When someone has a life experience that they don't allow to touch them, and you know of it, and if you've already been through your own experience that you chose to learn from, how does that resonate with you?
I think I'm a woman in her 50s,
Same.
later 50s. We're going to soften this so I don't look like
Yeah.
but
You're on the show, so I'm really going to look good.
right? They know at the studio.
Yes.
And I think you make a choice when you hit that age to either learn and be vulnerable and be authentic, or just dig in and be who you have been
You
up
want to
until then.
perceive.
Right. Because people are so worried about image, especially in a world where everything is about your image.
Yeah.
And you mentioned
And what you see on social.
Exactly. And we're so used to judging people that way. You mentioned your car. And I think that was one of the very first things that I realized. I drove up to the food bank that I was volunteering at in a brand new car because it was leased. Because when you are poor, when you don't have a strong income, you can't create a down payment for a car. You cannot get credit to get a car. You cannot afford the payments on buying a car because car payments are usually much higher than lease payments.
Yes.
But I could get a lease all day long. So I had a new car all the time that I was really, really poor and working at a poverty level because it was the only car I could get.
Yes.
You know, it's not like people are handing out cars to 50-year-olds going, here, you know, let's help you out.
Yeah.
It's different when you're 16. And so for people to understand when you explain to them that this is actually how the world works, that those people in the Mercedes can be just as poor as you are. It's the only car they can get. And if they get rid of it, they can't get a job. They can't go to work.
Yeah.
Then you hopefully help changing minds. But the only way that you can do that is by saying, hey, I was a New York Times bestseller who had sold millions of copies worldwide, and I was in this boat. And anybody can be in that boat, and you just never know what's happening with that person in that car or in that house. So you need to be empathetic and understanding and be willing to look at the world through a different lens.
I agree completely. And I do understand social and how we put everything's perfect on social. But I also believe that our culture, when you come to the one-on-one, people, maybe because of the social, people almost, you have a radar for authenticity.
Right.
Like, you basically know, you can watch someone in a room physically pull away to someone who doesn't feel authentic, which is, you know, two opposite ends of the spectrum, if you will, because you can sunshine and rainbows, or, you know, like we talked to Dennis Phillips earlier, the world's ending because of Super El Nino. You know, it's really difficult because, and I think of kids growing up, right? That they're looking at trying to be perfection, but then how do you balance that authenticity? So
it's
hopefully
scary
we'll
to
learn
be
things.
authentic. When you're 13, everybody makes fun of you. I got glasses
You're
and a
right.
perm on the same day. I looked like little orphan Annie when I was 13. And the kids were merciless, right? They were so cruel. And I very much was a perception for many years of my life. I was in TV for a little while, then marketing for a little while, and that's all about how you
Yeah.
look, how you present to the world. But I got to say that once I started saying, this is my real life and being my real self, and if you watch my videos on social media, you'll see that I'm an idiot who can't figure out how to turn on a microphone. I drop my camera. I do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
It's so freeing. It's so relaxing. And it gives other people the courage to be themselves and to say, I don't have to put up this perception of what I am. I can just be myself. And then you have real relationships. You have real connections. You have a real empathy that goes forward and begins to change the world, because what you guys are doing is amazing. But if we don't start with empathy and kindness for one another, we're not going to see the need, and then we're not going to fulfill it.
Right. Which we need to share with every person's life that we
Yes.
touch,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
That I think that is one of the most important things is how you approach someone. And, you know, when you can, which we're turning to this model, you know, COVID kind of set us back a little bit as an organization because you had so many people in need that the best way to get to everybody that you could was a drive-through line.
Right.
But, you know, now it's been years, we're settling into choice. Just like, you know, our market here, we're transitioning people to choice. You know, it's all about really regarding people with dignity.
Yes. And that's a big part of this
And
podcast.
that's for yourself too,
Yes.
right? You know, it's okay, you know, similarly, you know, being, you know, a spokesperson and all that, you have all these things, but then you kind of get, I think, you know, because I hit my 40s and I was kind of like, I am so tired of pretending.
Right.
What you see is what you get.
Right.
What am I doing?
Right.
Who cares? I think with that comes your confidence and what type of success you had, and you can transition into the real human you're supposed to be.
Right.
Which I will say mid 40s to mid 50s was probably, besides my children and all of
Right,
that.
right.
But from personally, that's been the best time of my life because I'm like really discovering my truth.
Right. I literally
Myself.
changed my wardrobe to not wear Spanx anymore because, you know, we're always trying to look all this.
I don't
Because I'm
care.
like, I am too tired to do that. I want to just wear something comfortable and then I can be myself, and
Well, I
I'm
was
not
gonna say
worried
they
about
hurt.
adjusting. They do hurt.
They hurt.
All the things you
And-
do
and
to
the-
present an
the-
image.
What is it? The people that go up in the air, it's almost like you have to do that to get them on anyway. So
Yes,
let's not.
exactly. But that it's all those little things that add up to become bigger things, and those are the conversations that we need to be having with each other.
We do. We do. So a little bit you mentioned very quickly. So now let's get into how we know each other.
Right.
But you mentioned being an author. So tell us a little bit about you professionally. You know, we've learned when you had a hard time. We all have a hard time. It's having that strength and grace and bravery to get through it.
Right.
And then you come out on the other end. So tell me about that.
So I wanted to be an author from the minute I learned what words were, right? Like I always was writing stories when I was a little girl and, you know, rewriting the endings of novels that I read in elementary school and middle school to be what I thought it should be. I got a job at the local newspaper in my town by calling them and applying and lying about my age. They asked if I was in high school and I was 11. And I said, oh, yeah, absolutely. And in those days, it was a million years ago, people.
Yeah.
We did a Dropbox. So I would type up my story on this $2 typewriter my mother got me at a yard sale, drop it off in a Dropbox. And I didn't meet the editor till I was 14. And he's like, wait, how old are you? So I was a tiny
You were
bit
submitting
ambitious.
stories for
Yes. Years. 2 stories a week, every single week while I'm going to school. I don't know. There's something wrong with me. I had a TV show, a couple TV shows before I was 18 on cable, because back then cable was a big deal.
Yes.
It was really how you were getting additional content. And I did a late night show. I did an interview show. I did a news show. Did a lot of different stuff. But I really wanted to write books. And so I started writing, and I sucked at it. I was terrible. I was a terrible fiction writer because learning to tell fiction effectively and learning to write a fiction novel effectively is about being vulnerable. It's about getting in touch with all of those inner fears and doubts and anxieties that nobody likes to talk about. And I was writing from here because I was a reporter. I was, you know, all of those things. And it was very cerebral and removed. It wasn't until I really learned to let go and start writing from my gut that the books became more authentic. I got at least 200, probably 250 rejections. I wrote 10 books in 8 years. My own agent said, I'm not sure you have what it takes. And I got really lucky with a submission that I made to a brand new junior editor who saw something in me that nobody else had. And they took this deep, dark, angsty novel that I had submitted, which starred a recovering alcoholic who thought he'd been responsible for the death of his own child, and had me turn it into a romantic comedy, which was a feat. And it went on to do extraordinarily well. It won the award for the best bookseller's best book of the year. And eventually I ended up getting a lot of contracts with other publishing houses. I hit the New York Times list. I hit the USA Today list multiple times. My nonfiction hit the Wall Street Journal list. So I'm a rare author that has been on all bestseller lists in both genres multiple times. I've done a lot of books published all over the world. But to me, it's all about telling the story. And that's what I've done in virtually every career I've ever had, is tell a story.
I'm amazed. So my practice, so I don't have that talent. I wish I did. It's something that I envy because like I'll watch a movie or I'll read a book or a show, and I wonder what creativity, like how did they think that up?
Right.
Like how, right now Outlander just wrapped up, and I read all of those books and was just riveted to all of the work and creativity that I just think it's a miracle that a human being can create like that. I do. I have such awe. And a matter of fact, I was watching that, and I was just sitting there thinking of all the joy that I've had reading all those things, watching all those things, and the people who've created these masterpieces to me. Because to me, that's where I check out.
Right.
It's either I prefer to read because I think my mind does such an amazing job at creating, and I love fiction, just because it's an escape. So I'm absolutely in awe of your talent and love that you've been able to succeed in those areas, because how wonderful and fulfilling is that for you as a professional and just a person, a creative person.
The secret of that is that every book I write, I think, is going to be the worst book I've ever written. Every time I get a contract, I think, I don't even know 85,000 words. I'm not sure I can write that many.
Right.
Like all of us, I know many top authors because it's a small industry. So I've been with Nora Roberts and Lee Child and people like that I'm still gaga over. Yeah. And they're all like, I don't think this book is going to be good. I think it's going to be terrible. We're all angsty the whole time that we write it, and then we release it into the world and don't think about it afterward. Don't think about anybody reading it, because you will get too
You're just
worried.
kind of blinders on until somebody
work on the
tells
next
you.
one. But it is a really fun, cool career, Yeah.
Wow. Kind of jealous. Seriously,
Well, I will
think
tell
that's
you,
brilliant.
nobody makes any money at books, so we're happy for everybody that reads books. It's an underappreciated industry,
Well,
just
it's
like a
changing
lot of
because
them.
it's digital now.
Yes, yeah. But
Like the digital books and things like that. But
Readers
something
are
that
readers.
you mentioned, and I think it's something that's important for us to understand and kind of segue us into the next topic that we're going to talk about: doing things alone. For instance, you met a new editor who had a vision that really helped you transition what you created into something that was marketable.
Right.
We've had Thomas Mance on. He used to be on the show. We got part of a merger. I got like shoved into his world, honestly, kicking and screaming. And he's been a mentor to me to teach me so many things and approaches and thoughtfulness and authenticity and how important my character, like all those things. But it takes influence.
Right.
Like you've got to be open to have someone pour a little bit into you. You don't know everything. Like you and I are the same age group. Finally, in my 40s, I let go of thinking that people expected me to know everything at my work or whatever. It's like you become confident where you can say, I don't understand.
Right.
Help me understand that. Or, I have this vacant look because I am completely lost about what you're like to speak up.
But that comes back to that vulnerability and authenticity, right?
Yes.
It's saying, I don't know it all, and I'm here to learn from you. Like just our production crew, I learned so much just watching and listening to them set up, because I don't know what I don't know, and I'm happily admitting that. Right. I know I'm good in my lane, and I'm happy to learn other lanes and let the experts tell me what to do.
So, speaking of that, you tell me what to do these days.
Only in this room.
Well, and I love it, and I'm learning from it every day. accepting any ideas and thoughts, not feeling criticized, but feeling built up towards success. So tell us about your company. First, I'm going to tell you how we met.
Mm-hmm.
So the podcast has been going on for years, and we have a small and wonderful audience, but it's a lot of time. It costs money. It's not the only thing I do at Feeding Tampa Bay. So it's like either let's go big or go home.
Right.
So we started, Thomas and our leadership was like, Shannon, start interviewing folks to come in to help us with the podcast. I interviewed 3 different people. One of our team members met you at a social mixer.
Right.
And said, you need to talk to Shirley. You weren't even on my radar. So I'm like,
we're a new company.
I love her.
On paper.
I love Stephanie, which is who met you. So I'm like, okay, I'll call Shirley. I trust Stephanie, which goes about trusting the people who surround you. You came in and said, and I said I wanted to be more dynamic visually, but you came in and said that you were the only person that I talked to that had that visual component on what it could be, but had the growth plan.
Right.
You were the only one. Like you had me at growth. It's like you had me at hello. So tell us about building success at your new company. From people watching, you can see the evolution that and thank you for your patience. Thank you. Because we keep growing and improving to get to the space that we're comfortable and need to be.
Right.
We're in our 4th month of working on this. So tell us a little bit about your company, what you do, and you can help. We'll have the conversation about what you're doing for us right now and what you can do for us in the future.
So meeting Stephanie, first of all, was one of those things that it was a networking event that had like 4 people at it. And it was all about
you
that.
were forced to talk to each other.
No, but it was all about those are the kinds of rooms where you walk in and you can say, waste of my time, I'm walking out. But my business development manager, Chris Melvin, and I have learned that you never know who you're going to meet, and you give everybody a chance in the room. You never know what they're going to need or whether they're going to be somebody down the road you can work with or not. It's about good karma, right?
Yeah.
Like I talk to a lot of people and tell them how they can improve their social media with no intentions of signing them as a client. I know they're not going to work out, but I want everybody to succeed, right? Our motto at Building Success is building success for all. And that whole company came about sort of because that's what we were doing. I met Tommy Whitehead, who owns Tomco Solutions. He's my business partner. 3 or 4 years ago, and he hired me to ghostwrite his book because that's the other thing I do. I've also ghostwritten about 100 books for other people.
100?
Yeah, a lot.
Oh, that's
I'm
a whole nother
very
podcast.
fast writer.
I am so intrigued.
I've worked for
next one.
NFL players, Today Show contributors, HGTV celebrities, and done a lot of ghostwriting for them. And I wrote his book, and I said, the book will make no money. You've got to go into this knowing the book will never make the money back, but the book will open doors for you. And he's like, well, how do I get it to do that? And I'm social media. You've got to start promoting yourself as a thought leader using the book as the way to open the door. So we started doing that. And Tommy's a little ambitious and crazy and driven. And he always comes up with the craziest ideas. And he's like, I think we need to have a business conference at the Raymond James Stadium. And I thought, you're insane. We're never going to be able to fill that place. And 2 years ago, we decided we were just going to go for it. And we went and called people like Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank and said, hey, you want to come be there? And people surprisingly said yes to us. And we promoted the heck out of it on social media. And people came to us and said, I see you everywhere. How did you do that? And it was mainly about being ourselves, being authentic, and then getting our story out. And so we said, maybe there's a company idea here. And it started out just for us to be promoting Tomco Solutions. And then we saw such a demand for businesses that needed not just videos, because anybody can give you a video.
You could do it from your phone,
Yes,
and there's apps and all this. But
they needed strategy.
There's something to be said.
Yes, they needed strategy. And and in order to retain the employees you have, for instance, or get information out about your company, or just even promote an event that you're doing, you have to bring in that authenticity, that storytelling, and be thinking about where you're going down the road. I've met plenty of companies that say, we'll come in and we'll film your event. I'm like, okay, great, but what about next year? How do you get people to say, man, I am so sad that I missed that event. How do I get to the next one? And so that's the kind of strategy that we bring to it. It's not just about getting your numbers up. It's about getting people saying, I want to work with Feeding Tampa Bay. I want to sponsor what they're doing. I want to be a part of the next innovation forum that they have. It's that creating FOMO, but also creating a desire for people to be a part of whatever you're doing. And again, it comes back to being yourself, being okay with screwing up or not having everything be perfect,
Right.
and then focusing on how you get that message out to everybody.
So tell everyone what you do for us.
So we produce the podcast. We come in with our team. We film it. We edit it. We cut it. We produce the shorts and the long form, and just help you with the growth in terms of strategizing. How are we going to get it to grow more on YouTube? What are we going to do about the thumbnails? What are we going to do about the hashtags and the description? How are we going to make it more SEO friendly? Because as great as our content is, and my team is amazing, you have to have strategies that feed into the system and the algorithm. That's just a reality. We want more eyes on the Feeding Tampa Bay podcast. We want more eyes on what you guys are doing. So we're always trying to think about how can we do that in addition to creating a quality product. So that's how come we came in with a growth metric. We saw a lot of areas where you weren't doing anything wrong. It's just that this isn't your area of expertise.
Right. We needed to learn.
Right. And how can we help you do that with an eye towards next year and the year after, and then getting the word out before hurricane season hits about the cool things that you guys are doing, all of that stuff.
Right. Yeah. So we have been, I think as a team, we're always open to learn. And I think that's important because obviously we had our first show. Now, our show was Ty Pennington.
Right.
Which was lucky.
Right. And it was an amazing guest.
Yeah. Except, when you look at it, you guys have to go back and look at this. The way Ty sets his camera for an interview.
No shade, Ty. We love you. But
we love you. But I clearly caught you in a moment because, man, he's like, anyway. But it's still interesting information. You learn more about him, and that's kind of what this is all about. But you guys are helping us grow. Your team is amazing. You're teaching us just really how we do this much better. And
we appreciate you guys. You're so easy to work with. So easy to work with.
Well, we have a great team. We're patient. We're open to learning. And we're just really thankful. And I want to go back to building success. It's a business.
Yes, absolutely.
It comes with a fee, and as it should, because you have people that you have to pay and everything else.
Right.
But I ended up being challenged with a budget because this is the first time we went out of producing this in-house. So because of your life experience, because you could relate, you partnered with us and made it to where it was something that was affordable for us, and it was something that you could still cover your bills.
Right.
And I thank you for that.
We appreciate it. We love it.
We have a wealth of information, a wealth of support, and we really see you as a partner.
We
like
love every moment of it.
all of the rest of them. And we're just really thankful to have you. And we're going to have you join the show as an author and come back as your other life, because I'm still so fascinated. But for now, Shirley, thank you so much for everything that you're doing for us at Stick a Fork in It, at Feeding Tampa Bay. And we really, really appreciate you and your entire team.
Thank you so much.
You guys, if you are interested in your podcast, even having Shirley talk to you, down in the information below, building success, how you can get a hold of them, and just how important it is to opening yourself to learn something new, because none of us are experts at any time. Take that one to the bank, and I'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you. That was lovely.